Hey guys, what's going on? Dean from Deancent Garage here. Today we're going to be tackling the fuel pump. When I bought this Porsche 944, the previous owner told me that there was possibly something wrong with the fuel pump. So that's going to be the first thing I'm going to be tackling on this car. So we're going to get down there, we're going to test it out, see what's going on with it, and see if we need a replacement. Alright guys, so now you're going to want to come down under the rear right corner of the car, and this is where you're going to find the gas tank and the whole fuel pump assembly and the fuel filter and the fuel strainer as well. So right here is the bracket holding up this plate that's covering up your fuel pump. So the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take this bracket off. You don't have to take it right out, you can let it hang by the hinge right up here. So there's a bolt right back in here that you can see right up there. You want to take that bolt out, and that's going to drop this strap out of the way, allowing you access to the fuel pump and the connections for the fuel pump. So I'll take that off right now. Then you're going to want to take these two screws out of the inspection cover. Now again, the screws that are in here right now are red Robbies, but I believe the factory hardware just number 2 Phillips. So I'm just going to go ahead and take these out. Okay, as you can see, the inspection cover is out. Want to make sure you save these little pieces here. Now what that is, there's just a little holder that the screw goes in. I have no idea what the technical term is. I'll try and find that for you guys. This one might actually need to be replaced, and it looks like I'm missing one over here on this other side. It just helped the screws hold a bit better. Now the next thing you want to do, you want to take this strap off right here. Now this is wrapped around the fuel pump, so you're going to want to loosen this off. Okay, once you get that fully loosened off, you want to push this strap into the cover, and then you'll see that it's actually wrapped around that fuel pump there, but it'll come out pretty easily. You just kind of pull the plate down and it pulls off from around the fuel pump like that. So now we have full access to our fuel pump right there. And then this is the strainer. That's the strainer going into the fuel tank, and you're definitely going to want to take that out and inspect that, clean it up, and possibly even replace it depending on the condition of it. Now I've seen some guys, they take them out and they're pretty clean, while other guys take them out and they're full of sludge because the gas that was left in the gas tank had been sitting there for a long time and had gotten pretty bad. And at that point, I believe those people had to drop their tank and get their tanks cleaned as well. So hopefully we haven't had any gas in this gas tank for too long where it's turned pretty bad. But I'll be pulling this strainer out and we'll be having a look at that. So next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to test this guy out. So you're going to want to hook the battery up and jumper the relay. And we're going to test for voltage right back here. So that's where the wires are going into. And you got the boots there covering up the wires. I'll just take those out right now. So now you can see the connections there. The top ones are 8mm socket. That's the ground. And the bottom one here is a 7mm socket. And that's your 12 volts, the positive side. So we're going to hook up the battery, jumper the relay, and we're going to test for voltage right here. Make sure we don't have a wiring issue. Okay, so we're going to hook up our battery here. I'll start with the negative terminal. Get that guy pressed on there. I'm not going to worry too much about tightening it down at this point because I'll be disconnecting it again. But here's our positive. Just gonna place that on the positive post. Press that down. So now we should have battery connected. Make sure it's not shorting on anything. Then we're going to come over to our relay box. Be jumpering the relay for the DME, and what this does is going to apply power directly to the fuel pump. Now the two pins that you want to jumper is 30 and 87B. Now the previous owner of this vehicle modified this relay to have that done built in. So I'll show you the two pins. So it's this pin right here. That there is pin 30, and this pin right here is 87B. So you want to jumper this guy and this guy down here. And since we've got that built in here, I'm just going to plug in this relay. Now I should have power back at my fuel pump. Okay, so I'm back on the car. Got my voltage meter kind of wedged up in there, so you can see the voltage. Got the battery connected, and I've got the relay jumpered. So, and remember, your 8mm socket is your ground. It's the larger one, and the 7mm is your power, your positive, which is should be 12 volts. Make sure you're on DC, not AC. So you can see there I'm getting 9.56 volts. I think that is what you're supposed to be getting once the power reaches the back of the car here and goes through the some of the wiring. Another test we're going to do, just to rule out that there's nothing kind of weird going on with the wiring, so we're going to run the battery directly to the fuel pump, and I'll show you how I do that. Okay, so what I've done here, I've taken a piece of wire, and I've stripped the sheathing back quite a bit on this. The reason being is because I don't have anyone out here to give me a hand right now, so I'm doing this by myself. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to wrap this wire around the positive post like that, and then I'm just going to wrap it around itself on the back side here, and that'll keep my wire fairly snug on the post. Now I'm obviously going to do that to the positive post as well. Now I've got the other end of my wire over here. You want to make sure that you don't let these touch each other once you have the red and the black hooked up to your battery. You want to make sure that those are kept separate, and then we'll put those wires right onto the fuel pump and see if we can get the fuel pump to turn on. Now we've got the positive and the negative hooked up to our battery. Running down here to this end of the wire, we're just going to make sure we keep those two separated, and then we're going to hook them up right to the fuel pump. Okay, so I've got my wires right here hooked up to my battery. Black for negative, red for positive. And you got to remember that the larger bolt, the 8mm, is going to be your negative, and the smaller bolt, the 7mm, is going to be your positive. As long as that's a stock application. There are other pumps that the sizes are a little bit different, so just be sure you know which is your positive and negative before running this test here. So I'm going to hook up negative to the negative terminal, like that, and then positive to positive. So we got something going on funky there. You can hear it kind of click on, or try to click on, but it seems like it seized, so we definitely need a new fuel pump. So I'll be pulling that puppy out, getting a new one on order, and at the same time I'm going to be getting our fuel filter out up there, getting that guy out of there, and then your fuel strainer as well. It goes right into your gas tank. Now this can get gummed up pretty bad, especially if you've got some bad gas in the tank. So you're going to want to pinch off this hose, remove the fuel pump, get that out of the way. You're also going to want to take this fuel strainer out of here and have a look at that, see what's going on. So we're going to get to the part of draining some gas now. Alright guys, as you noticed in the video, looks like the fuel pump's bad, so we're going to have to replace that. So I'm going to be doing a bit of research trying to find out what a good replacement pump's going to be. Might even look at upgrading the pump, since I do know that the vehicle is going to be making a bit more power than it was stock. The previous owner told me it should be doing about 380 horse. That could be to the crank, I don't know. But we'll see when we get it on the road and I can get it over to a dyno. So for now, I'm going to be looking for an alternative fuel pump. Anyways, I'll see you guys on the next video. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button. And don't forget to hit that notification bell. Have a good one, guys.